Hello, dear viewers and subscribers of my channel. My name is Strange, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about sad things. We are all mortal, and as one of Robert Ernest Heinlein's characters said, life in general is deadly. People die from it. At the end, I was not at home 3 days ago. I had to leave on business. I will not go into details. It is unlikely that you will be interested in my usual life routine. So when I got home, there was a message on my landline phone. Yes, there are still people who use them. When I turned it on, I realized that my life would never be the same again. The message read, "Strange, I have incredibly secret material for you. Please call me back when you have time." The message was from Stephen. Only this time, I was alerted by his voice. It was very tense, and without a note of sarcasm. It was at that moment that I realized something had happened. Something important, but not very good. I remember it only took me a minute to dial Stephen, and then I was shocked by what he said. "They're dead, Strange. The whole squad. Among them was my brother, under the call sign Archangel. I can't believe it, Stephen. He was in that unit, wasn't he? Yes, it was the best of the best. And it was he who died, completely and completely. But how? Where? Were they ambushed by militants in the Middle East? Worse, they were killed by something. I can't judge who it is, or what it is. I don't really know anything myself, but I managed to get the records of what happened from the Internal Investigations Department from the NSA. There are several files from body cameras, like the police officers in our state. How could the NSA get them if the whole squad was dead? Starlink. With its help, everything was transmitted in real time. But that's not even scary. No one wants to do it. The command refused to evacuate them. In fact, they were abandoned there, Strange. Do you understand? They were thrown to their deaths. It's probably not the right moment, Steve, but how much do I owe you? Are you crazy, Strange? Yes, I'm a corrupt bastard, but not so much that I will ask for money for recordings with the death of my own brother. I have only one request. Watch the material, make it public. Let the common people know what our guys died for. In particular, my brother. Adieu, Steve. I'll do everything I can, and I'm sorry. I don't need your pity. She won't give me my brother back. Just do what you do best. Tell me the truth. Almost a memory of my brother, and he hung up." 2 minutes later, I received a link to download one large file in my email. I immediately transferred it to my laptop. However, the format was unknown to me, but there was some kind of program included, thanks to which I managed to open everything. It was a huge video recording. Moreover, it has already been professionally edited by someone from the NSA for easy viewing. And thanks to their software, I could watch everything happening from several angles, namely from several cameras. That is, I had the ability to switch records in a single file. I dedicate this video to a soldier of the Virgil Squad. Rest in peace, Archangel. I ask everyone to be silent with me for a minute in memory of the fallen in their invisible war. So the squad. Our task is clear and simple. To gain access to the database data, to take it away, or, as a last resort, to destroy all of them, and then return home. "Is everything clear to everyone?" said the man with an obvious Polish accent. "Sir, there is a sir." 3 voices echoed. The cameras showed that the squad was flying in a helicopter. According to the internal layout, it can be assumed that it was a Boeing CH-47 Chinook. Why this particular base, Commander? After all, we just recently conducted a security training in case of emergency threats. Hey, Archangel, you remember that, right? One of the fighters turned to his partner. Guided by the camera of the soldier who addressed him, the face under the helmet with the built-in gas filter was not visible. But the fighter himself was at least 6 feet tall. "Oh, what?" The Archangel roused himself. "Sorry, I was thinking." "Well, yes, we're there, and I'd even remember how we—" "That's enough, guys." The commander cut off his subordinates. "Yes, we were there recently a week ago. But even during this time, a lot can change. And since we were called, it means that something very urgent really happened." The camera on the commander's vest showed the entire squad. There were only 4 of them, including their leader. "Attention to the crew. Estimated time of arrival is 2 minutes. Be ready," the helicopter pilot said over the intercom. "Acknowledged, Skipper. Thanks for the taxi service." The commander made his trademark joke. "And don't get sick, you're real. You have to pay for another bottle of beer, because you still can't come up with something new. Necessarily. When you get back, try your best. I heard something really strange happen at this base. At one point, The connection to the inner perimeter was simply cut off, and no one else went on the air. Yes, it is known from our briefing. It's just a pity that the operation takes place in the evening. I hate the night. There were chuckles in the squad. A minute later, judging by the way the squad began to check and reload their weapons just in case, the helicopter was supposed to land. And indeed, looking through the cameras of all the soldiers of the detachment, I noticed how the ladder opened in the aft part of the helicopter, and everyone ran out in strict order in twos. Switching to the Archangel's camera, one could see how the squad approached the checkpoint of the base passage. There were trees around and a small checkpoint with a barrier. The railway tracks passed through the point to the hermetic chambers of the complex itself, but the locomotive itself with the train was not visible. One of the soldiers entered the guard booth. There was a light on inside and a cigarette smoldering in the ashtray. Someone was here recently, Commander. Isn't it security? Yes, it should be. But where did they go? They were the first to send the SOS signal. AR, check the whole room. Acknowledged, sir, said the same man who had entered the room first. The rest of you, spread out at the main gate. I'll report the situation to the command. Sir, there is a sir. Everyone answered in unison. Uriel, the commander of the squad, moved away somewhere. Thanks to his camera, it was clear that he had snatched something that looked like a satellite phone.
This is the Virgil squad. Headquarters, so you hear. We can hear you. And we can see perfectly well through your cameras. Does it look like no one came out to meet you? That's right. This is unfortunate. Continue the mission. And remember, the data must survive. As it turns out, headquarters, end of communication.
Hey, Commander, there's something here. It seems that it was shouted by one of those who went to check the security room. The whole squad went to a small outdoor toilet. There was something or someone moving around inside. As soon as everyone raised their weapons and took off the safety locks, Ark opened the door. A guard in a black uniform and with a pistol at the ready fell out. He immediately pointed it somewhere ahead of him and shouted, "Wait, this is a secret facility. Surrender or I'll shoot." "Hush, hush, boy. We are our own." "Who are your own?" "We've been waiting for our own for the whole day, but they're not here." "Are you sure they're your own? Or maybe mine?" "Ha ha ha," the man laughed hysterically. Judging by the cameras, it really was an employee of the outer perimeter security, but his state of mind left much to be desired. Switching to the Archangel, I noticed how he put away the machine gun and put his hands up. "Hush, boy, you're Jacob, right? I'm an Archangel, a Special Forces fighter. We visited you a week ago and conducted training sessions, remember? We also discussed your beautiful wife, Lana, and your two children, Lenny and Rose, I think. An Archangel, you say? I don't remember any angels coming to us, unless I'm already a corpse, and this is all my transition to purgatory. No, Jacob, you're still alive. And behind us is our helicopter. His pilot will take you to the base, where you will drink hot chocolate and return to your family a little later." "Hot chocolate, you say? Only one person knows how much I love it. I just told him this secret a week ago." "Well, if that's the case, take off your helmet, please." Jacob pointed the gun at the Archangel. The Archangel sighed heavily and took off his helmet. Jacob peered into the face of his, as it turned out, familiar person, and after a while lowered the gun. Uriel's camera highlighted this moment, and I saw Brother Stephen's ash-gray hair. In general, it is now clear why he was given such a call sign. The Archangel himself looked about 25 years old. It was obvious how the tension of the entire squad almost immediately went away. Jacob, in turn, threw the gun away from him. "I'm sorry. If you knew what the hell has been going on here these last few days, you would judge me. We arrived as soon as we could to investigate everything. Where are the rest of the security staff? There must be 6 of you. All 5 of them left for the complex shortly before your arrival, but I lost contact with them as soon as they went inside. I hope they are still alive." "Noted, Jacob," Uriel said. "Go back to the helicopter and fly away. We'll check everything ourselves and we'll be back soon too. Fortunately, your base is not big." Yes, not the same maze as in the Canaries," Ark laughed but quickly shut up, apparently feeling the disapproval of these words from his commander. At the same time, the 4th participant in this special operation continued to remain silent. Judging by the camera, his call sign was silent. Meanwhile, Jacob had already gone somewhere else, and 2 minutes later, the sound of helicopter engines starting was heard. 3 minutes later, the sound completely disappeared. Apparently, the helicopter flew away. So, squad, moving inside. If we see someone alive, we ask first, and then we shoot. Is everything clear to everyone? Sir, there is a sir, all three echoed. And the squad began its advance towards the huge hermetic doors of the base. The silent man went to the code panel and connected something to it. By the look of it, it was a tablet. 2 minutes later, one of the hermetic doors opened, but not completely. All four had to squeeze inside. Mother of God! The Archangel exclaimed and raised his machine gun. In appearance, it was a 20-round FN SCAR, with an optical sight and a flashlight for night operations. A terrible picture appeared in front of the squad. Here and there, the bodies of people were nailed to the walls of the complex, either with nails or with some spikes. In the abdominal cavity, many had no heart and lungs, and their faces expressed such terrible agony, as if they had passed through all 7 circles of hell before dying. Although who knows, maybe it was. The red emergency lighting added its own special, sinister grotesque to this carnival of death. The stupor of the squad itself did not last long. The other 3 turned on flashlights and began to examine the bodies of the dead. It looks like it's our security. I can't even imagine the size of a nail gun to nail someone to the wall like that, Ark said in a very serious tone. He was holding a Cobra Striker revolver-type shotgun in his hands. His hands were visibly shaking, if it was a person at all. And look at their bodies. Their hearts and lungs are gone. Moreover, as far as I remember, the base was engaged in the study of extraterrestrial life forms. Just don't tell me that we may be dealing with something we don't really know, said the Archangel, slowly approaching the slightly ajar door of the second checkpoint deep into the base. Whatever it is, we stick together. I am sure we will be able to resist what has disfigured the guys we once trained, Uriel said. Commander, I think you should take a look at this, the Archangel said over the radio. All 3 went to the calling fighter, and an even more strange, but no less terrifying picture appeared before them. Most of the floor of the second checkpoint was flooded with something luminescent and foreign. Moreover, there was a huge spider web everywhere, just as luminous and strange. Ark decided to approach this something. He picked up a plastic bottle from the floor and threw it into the substance. It flew next to the web and plopped into the liquid, which dissolved the bottle. I don't like this, Ark said. Like all of us, the Archangel replied. The squad moved on. The glass of the checkpoint remained intact, but there was a mess inside. Chairs were scattered, and in some places there were traces of blood and marks from pistol shots. It's strange that there are no bodies, the squad leader, Uriel, noted aloud, as if reading my own thought too. Yes, it is. I'll try to go online, maybe I'll be able to view the surveillance cameras, said the Archangel, and performed the voiced. Switching to his camera, I could see everything he was doing. Here he logs into the internal LAN via the terminal built into the table. Then it finds the power management and redirects some of the electricity to the panel and to the exterior lighting lamps. Now it is looking for a folder with video files. Just as one of the latter opens, a deafening shotgun blast is heard from his companions. What the fuck? Ark shouts, continuing to shoot somewhere. The Archangel dropped everything and ran out of the security room. The shotgun blasts were joined by 2 automatic bursts. When the Archangel arrived at his own, he began to shoot, but more into the darkness, apparently for show. After 10 seconds, everything went quiet. A hefty-looking scorpion lay in front of Ark. It was covered with sharp spikes, and the chitin showed dents from shot and bullet holes. What the fuck is this? Ark shouted. It seems that this is one of the reasons for what happened at the base. Uriel concluded, reloading his polished NSBS Raiden rifle complex. Except I've never seen a scorpion like that in my life. There is a record of this in the security terminal, sir, the Archangel reported, returning to the terminal. Judging by the data, the substance that we have already noticed on the floor was studied here. It has some kind of mutagenic composition and causes mutation of what is not dissolved due to its acidic characteristics. This all complicates matters dramatically. Check if there is anything written about where the substance came from and on whom or what else it could have been used. It will be done, sir. The rest of you, stay close to the Archangel and cover him. Silent, you're with me. Judging by the silent response, and by the way the 4th member of the squad went to the commander, everyone understood the instructions given. Meanwhile, the Archangel was flipping through the files, but couldn't find anything useful. After a minute, he came out to the others and said, Commander, we couldn't find anything else. but I restored the power supply a little bit. At least the video cameras are working now. And as far as I remember, a little further than the passage from where this creature crawled out to us. So there should be another terminal there. I think we'll find everything we're interested in it. Accepted then, let's all move out except Ark. Go stay here and watch our backs. Keep an eye on the cameras and motion sensors. As far as I remember, they should be here. I understand you, Commander. Then let's move out. And they moved out. The emergency lighting was still working along with the usual one. Flashlights cut through the darkness of the dark corridors. Sometimes they came across an acidic substance that the soldiers passed by. All this time I was sitting in my room and watching videos. I was scared and at the same time terribly interested to find out what really killed such a well-trained and heavily armed detachment. Soon, the answer was not long in coming. When the soldiers reached a kind of field laboratory, everyone dispersed around the room. The Archangel reconnected to the terminal and began to view the data. A little later, he read out some interesting information from there. It turns out that the base specialized in gene modifications with animals. Moreover, just a couple of days ago, the so-called Nectar A1A was brought here. If the data is correct, the substance was pumped out of one of the meteorites recently raised from the bottom of the Mariana Trench. By examining the liquid, the scientists wanted to find out whether it was possible to make a bioweapon or a healing mixture from it. It looks like the first one turned out, Uriel said. And not only that, the reports say that when they came into contact with living organisms, they changed. However, more in the negative direction. Well, we have already seen one such example. Okay, maybe that's enough for us. Download everything to the media, and we'll get out of here. I already have goosebumps. Accepted? Just a minute. I stared at the computer terminal screen from the camera for a full minute. And when the data jump slider reached the end, the terminal let out a loud beep. Turn it off. Uriel shouted. I'm trying. The Archangel replied. And he did it. The squeaking stopped. It seemed like an eternity passed before the squad moved. Apparently, they expected that the sound might attract someone's attention. But it was very quiet. It's time to leave, Uriel said shortly. And his subordinates followed him. They began to return the way they had come. Fortunately or unfortunately, the red emergency light did not disappear in the corridor after the power supply was restored. And while the squad was returning, Ark contacted them on the radio. Commander, I've connected to the base's motion sensors. I have bad news for you. Something is following you. What is the number of signatures? Alone. Now 2, 5, 10. Get out of there now. Switching to the silent one, I saw that he had picked up a grenade. Pulling back the pin, he threw it somewhere behind him. There was a booming explosion. A couple of seconds later, something flew at the fighter, which pinned into the wall. The silent one. The Archangel shouted. There's no way to help him. Let's run, Uriel shouted. The camera of the silent man was still working, although it gave a small crack from the impact. I purposely did not switch to other members of the squad, and perhaps very wrongly, black, brown, and red scorpions were crawling right down the corridor behind them. They were no smaller than the one the soldiers had shot earlier. The main crowd passed by, but one stopped, and began to bite into the body of the silent man with its mandibles. It didn't matter if he was alive or dead at that moment. I almost threw up from watching this action. Meanwhile, Uriel and the Archangel reached the second security post. Ark was already waiting for them there. I don't know what's following us, but it can shoot. And apparently these are Scorpio's relatives. Then we should definitely get out, and hurry up. We need to get to the Hermitages, said Ark. And there we can already get out of the Naru. Oh damn. Switching to the Archangel's camera, I saw that Ark had inadvertently stepped into the substance. She immediately began to dissolve his equipment. And then, something even more frightening happened. The substance seemed to be absorbed into the soldier's body. Ark himself stopped shouting. After a few more moments, his eyes lit up with a turquoise light. This could be seen by the light coming from the pupils, and making its way through the lenses of his helmet with a gas filter. And although Ark's feet completely dissolved, he continued to crawl. A wheeze came from his mouth. The Archangel did not hesitate to shoot the arch into the body. He froze for a moment, and then continued his movement. Seeing this, apparently the Archangel drew conclusions for himself and shot again, only this time in the head. This particular shot stopped their fallen comrade. But at that very moment, several spikes flew out of the corridor. One of them hit Uriel in the arm. The kinetic force was so terrifying that the commander was pinned to the glass of the security post. "Run, Archangel, run. I'm going to stop these creatures." "Well, you bastards, come here. Now I'll show you the polished mother." After these words, the sound of machine gun shots rang out. The Archangel fled. I ran like I've probably never run before. "Base, please respond."
The base, requesting evacuation. This is the Archangel from the Virgil Squad. Base, we need an urgent evacuation.
There was no answer. The automatic bursts stopped. The commander's voice also died down. And a few seconds later, there was a dull explosion. Apparently, Uriel decided to blow himself up along with those creatures. The Archangel reached the hermetic caves. I took out the device and connected to the panel responsible for closing/opening them. And then he managed to open the flap of one of them and climb out. He immediately closed the door behind him, and turning around, the light of a flashlight hit him in the face. The Archangel, "Not really alive," someone exclaimed. The skipper, "Mother of God, how glad I am to see you. Do you have a satellite phone?" "Of course. Contact the headquarters immediately. There are some mutated scorpions inside. All the other members of my squad are dead." "I get you. Let's go to the helicopter. It's lying there," the pilot replied and headed somewhere to the side. The Archangel followed him. I don't know if the Archangel noticed or not, but the skipper's voice was calm enough, as if he didn't care about the information about the dead at all. 2 minutes later, both soldiers reached the helicopter. It was still the same Boeing CH-47 Chinook. However, from the outside, as it turned out, it was dark green in color. The skipper stopped and said, "Oh, I almost forgot. Did you manage to get the data?" "Of course, but you would know what cost. Please contact the base, and I'll..." The guy paused. His camera was pointed at the body that was lying next to the helicopter. It was Jacob, the same guard that everyone else had seen earlier. His uniform was stained with scarlet blood. The skipper noticed the pause, turned around and pointed the gun directly at the Archangel. "Data, please." "I understand. Data, please." The Archangel took something out of his pocket and looked at the skipper, and I decided to throw it away, apparently. Unfortunately, I didn't have time. Spraying out. The guy's body fell backwards. The skipper leaned over to him and said, "It's nothing personal, friend. I had my orders." From the sounds from the camera, it was heard how the skipper landed next to the body of the Archangel and picked something up from the ground. After a while, he spoke again. "Headquarters, the task is completed. I have the data. I'm going back to the base." The broadcast ended there. I remember being in deep shock at the time. One thing pleases, the skipper's face was visible. And this means that at least I will be able to defame him, thus avenging all the fallen. Where this base is located is not indicated anywhere, but now I know for sure that the US government has driven another nail into its coffin with just this heinous act. And I will do everything to make all these bastards pay for the war crimes they committed. Subscribe to the channel and send me your stories related to aliens by email. You will find contacts in the About the Channel section. Together, we will force the authorities of all countries to disclose all the information they have. After all, people should know the truth.